Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Find Yourself in a Character, my weekly video series that takes us on a weekly exploration of some of my favorite characters and their journeys. I'm Jenny D, author, consultant, and international promoter of Love and Triumph. In this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. Now, this is my second book by Colleen, and she's quickly becoming one of my favorites. The other book I read from her was It Ends With Us, and that was a brilliant exploration of physical abuse. And this book was an exploration of the mother-daughter relationship, particularly a mother and a teen daughter. Now, as a mother of a teen daughter, I found a lot to relate to with Morgan Grant, the main character. Well, one of the main characters, the other main character was the daughter, Clara. So in this book, it took you on a journey of a tragedy that started ripping them apart. And it was more of a misunderstanding, lots of little misunderstandings, and a refusal to look at each other's side of the story about what could really be going on. Like the mom just made assumptions that the daughter was spiraling downward when the daughter was just rebelling and acting out and doing little things that she learned that she didn't want to do. Things like she didn't want to do drugs. She didn't want to do the sex. She didn't want to do the sex. She didn't want to cut school. So she was trying out things that were against her common nature. But of course, the mom assumed the worst. She just was overprotective, wanted to make sure her daughter was okay. And so she would obsess over this. And then the daughter would obsess over the mom's control, just saying she doesn't understand, why is she being like this? Meanwhile, she doesn't understand that the mom is actually protecting her from some information that could really, really hurt her. And so the mom acts out of protection, the child acts out of rebellion against his mother's protection. And it was interesting to see the two sides of the story play out. And it helped me to kind of see, I'm like, if you stop and take a perspective that overprotection is not what a child may need. They may need you just to be there to listen. And then if the child understands, which is harder because they're still learning, sees that the mom really does make sacrifices. And, it hit me personally hard because there's a lot I do that I protect my kids from, that it's not their business. I don't want to ruin relationships with people that they have, based on my experiences. And so I try to rise above that as best I can, because it's not their business. If it doesn't directly affect them, then why hurt them with information, So I could see that perspective, but then I could also see the perspective that kids are stronger than we think and that they can handle it. So there was a lot of the betrayal that went on in the book that happened to Morgan that she was trying to protect her daughter from. That hit strongly. And then when Clara had that light bulb moment, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what happened to my mom. She's been experiencing this and I had no idea. It set the stage for a wonderful adult relationship between the two of them as Clara, turned 17 and all that. So I thought it was beautifully written. It had lots of different feels. You wanted to root for them in the end, and you kind of saw and you want to shake them both, because as they're fighting, you're like, why can't you just stop and have a conversation? One conversation would fix all of this. The mom wouldn't assume that a daughter's doing all this stuff, and the daughter wouldn't assume the mom is just trying to control her life. It's really insightful, and it was a great, easy read. I mean, I couldn't put it down. So I highly recommend it. And perhaps if you're a mom of a teenage daughter, you will see a lot of your own life experience in Morgan. So thank you for watching this week. Tune in if you want to learn more about me and my books. I am at www.jennydauthor.com. And I hope you found yourself in a character this week, and I will see you next week for another episode.